Hi. Hi, Joanne.
Thanks for joining us all the way from, where are you right now? Are you at home?
Yes, in Tunisia, yes.
In Tunisia. Okay, which city are you in?
Sus right
Sus.
now.
Okay, awesome. So hello to everyone. Hello to you in Sus. Okay, so let's jump in. So tell us firstly a little bit about you and your background.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me. It's really great to be here with you today. So I'm Oumaima Mhadhbi. I'm from Tunisia, and I'm software and blockchain engineer. As for my educational background, I got my baccalaureate degree in mathematics in 2014, and then a preparatory cycle degree in physics and chemistry, and finally a computer science engineering degree in 2019. So yeah, as you may tell, from my educational background, I did not foresee being what I presently am. But deep down, I always knew I want to be an engineer, but I wasn't sure in what field. And as for my professional journey, it started almost 3 years ago as a software engineer, during which I had the chance to work on blockchain related projects. So yeah, this is it, the short version of my background.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about how I know you just mentioned it, but how you ended up in this industry or who inspired you to get into the industry?
Yes, I think I can say it was a coincidence that obviously shaped my professional career. In my graduation year of the engineering cycle, it was by the end of 2018, a classmate and a good friend of mine told me about the blockchain technology. And to be honest, at that point, I had never heard of blockchain technology, and I had no clue what it was or how it works. He told me, like, listen, there is a new technology that has a great potential, and people predict that it will take the world by a storm, and that it will be a good idea if we manage to work on a blockchain related subject during our end of studies internship. And luckily enough, I got the chance to work in an interesting blockchain related subject for my graduation project. It was about bank loans life cycle automation using smart contracts and Ethereum blockchain. Ironically, my friend ended up working on another technology, and I ended up building a career about the blockchain technology. So this is how I first discovered the technology. But what encouraged me to pursue this career path was its promising potential to solve many of the world's most pressing problems regarding health and well-being, identity and data usage, data privacy, energy and climate, etc. And digging deeper into the technology, how it works and its use cases, made me more convinced that I had to be involved in this industry. And another reason that spurred me to become part of the blockchain industry is the fact that it's mostly male dominated. So, and personally, I really do believe that creating a diverse work environment and ecosystem for such disruptive technology is extremely important to boost its evolution. And this is not just me saying that. This has been statically proven. And that's it. This is how I ended up in the blockchain industry.
Brilliant. Okay, so please share with us the work you're doing right now.
Okay, so right now I'm working within a team on decentralized and self-sovereign identity-based project. It's a co-innovation project between Orange Group and AgData Hub, which is an European operator of consent and data exchange platform. And this project aims to provide French and European agriculture in general with utilized infrastructure and a collective standardization approach for managing credentials for individuals and agriculture companies, giving consent to use agriculture collected data and how to exchange it across the different agricultural sectors, while of course establishing digital trust regarding the use of data.
Okay, so self-sovereign identity, why is this important?
Simply because it deals with an extremely important topic, which is digital identity and the use of data. But to answer that question more thoroughly, I would like to go back slightly in time and talk about how digital identity has evolved through different models, which led us to self-sovereign identity. So the first and still most known form of digital identity is the silhouette model, where a service provider allows its users to create a credential, and it's usually in the form of a username and a password in order to access its services. In such model, the user is obliged to trust the provider to store his data properly and to not misuse it, not to mention the fragmentation of identity for each service. And also considering that the average consumer has around 26 online accounts, and that most people have between 6 and 10 passwords they actively use. This may result in forgotten passwords and worse, reused passwords, which leads to security lapse. For service providers, this solution is neither secure or efficient because forgetting or reused passwords leads to costly security breaches and passwords reset customer services. All of these drawbacks gave rise to the federated model, where several identity providers establish agreements between each other to operate under a common trust framework or federation. So enabling users to use one set of login credentials for multiple services, for example, logging into a new services using a Google or Facebook account. And yes, this has improved the user experience significantly, but in terms of data sovereignty, service providers have retained complete control over the digital identities. And in terms of security, we have aggravated the lapses. If a piece of authentication information is leaked, it leads to unauthorized logins to multiple services. Also, identity theft remain problematic, even with the use of the federated model. Trying to give the user better control of his digital identity, a more user-centric digital identity approach has been pioneered, which is single sign-on. Basically, it's the same approach as federated identity. The main difference is a service provider tells the user what data the other party requested and if he consents with it. But even this user-centric digital model does not solve the underlying security risks that came with centralized digital identities, including identity theft and data misuse for advertising purposes or promoting political agendas, for example. So as the use of online services increases, there is a growing concern on privacy and security that than ever was before. And more people now are aware about the over-collection, exploitation, and even misuse of their personal data. So also there is a big push from governments to protect individuals' privacy, and we can notice that from the emergence of legislations and regulations like the GDPR. So companies are increasingly aware that from a legal and ethical perspective, they need to adopt new approaches to identity, to identify individuals digitally. They have realized that they need to move away from central identity providers toward truly user-owned digital identities. And this is where the concept of self-sovereign identity comes from. So self-sovereign identity is a peer-to-peer relationship and private by design model that aims giving back the user full control over its identity. And the idea behind self-sovereign identity is the ability for the identity holder to decide with whom and to what extent his data is shared. And this model really puts the user at the center of every data transaction. He can granularly choose to disclose only some parts of his information, or even if zero knowledge proof. And of course, this model relies on cryptography to secure the contents of shared data and to make it tamper-proof. So it adheres to the privacy and security principles as mandated by laws like GDPR. To make it short, self-sovereign identity for me is the path to the internet of trust, privacy, and security. It's also very important to mention that blockchain is not necessarily a prerequisite for building self-sovereign identity solutions. It would even be possible to use the existing public key infrastructures, but then we will be dependent again on a central authority to hold the public keys. So yes, if this trusted entity stops the service or deleted individuals' keys for whatever reason, the key cannot be verified anymore. And this is exactly where the added value of the blockchain within the self-sovereign identity model shows up. I know I've gone on for too long, but I just want to add that self-sovereign identity solutions are there to set of guiding principles known as Christopher Allen's 10 principles. Check them out if you're interested. Also, there are a number of organizations involved in building open standards for self-sovereign identity, such as Worldwide Web Consortium, Decentralized Identity Foundation. Also, Hyperledger organization is building open source implementation around decentralized ledgers and blockchain, like Hyperledger Aries and Hyperledger Indy, for example. So that's it. I just hope I didn't bore you to death with such long answer.
That's why we're here, to learn all from you. So tell us now about some of the challenges that you face in this industry that you're working in.
Okay, so for SSL solutions or projects, I think the first challenge is interoperability, how to ensure interoperability with existing identity management systems and other self-sovereign identity systems. We can't expect users to install different wallets to use different SSI solution per use case. Also, since SSI solutions relies on cryptography to work properly, one of the challenges is users' key management. While in traditional identity management models, the identity providers are the one responsible for the management of identity data and the associated risks to that. In the SSI model, it is the responsibility of the users. So Which leads me to the next challenge, which is the lack of the end user awareness and education about self-sovereign identity. So the user may not know what self-sovereign identity is, or may have some misconceptions about how it works, like he may think his personal data will be stored in the blockchain, and hence it will be publicly available, for example. Particular attention also must be given to raising users' awareness to the overall user experience. So we have to pay attention to things like offline availability to share credentials or give consent. Also requesting, for example, users to provide consent to many privacy policies may lead to what is known as consent fatigue. We must think of implementing, for example, automated decision making in digital wallets, for example. And I think the tricky challenge, if I may say that, is that we only can feel the added value of self-sovereign identity and its huge impact on our day-to-day life is through mass adoption. Like we need to have several entities involved in the SSI ecosystem as issuers and verifiers to ensure data sovereignty in all aspects of one's everyday life, so that all stakeholders could feel its potential. We could even talk about cross-country or cross borders credentials, but also for SSI to have a real chance of being widely adopted, both individuals and organizations would have to take advantage of the system. So, you know, we have to show its added value so we can convince stakeholders and users to join the ecosystem. So for me, it's like it's chicken and egg situation. And also things like regulation and laws may have an impact on the adoption of self-sovereign identity. And finally, of course, we have the challenges related to the underlying blockchain layer, like security, scalability, challenge, lack of awareness and understanding, and finally, maybe the energy consumption and environmental cost of blockchain solutions.
Right, right. Okay. Now, thinking broadly about blockchains, what do you think are some of the trends that we're going to see in the industry?
Okay. Let me talk about self-sovereign identity and decentralized identity solutions first. I think there are going to be efforts around specifications, standards, and regulations. And I think we're gonna focus more on the interoperability between the different SSI solutions. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a lot of work dedicated to the overall user experience. For the blockchain trends in general, I think the craze surrounding the non-fungible tokens will expand beyond its initial use cases. So for example, we can expect innovative NFT usage in the metaverse, for example. Also, I think we are likely to see a lot of green blockchain initiatives, eco-friendly, maybe use of renewable energy for blockchain operations, things like that. Of course, decentralized finance will continue being a major player, and I think we're gonna see more of blockchain-based national currency initiatives, central banks, digital currencies. It is definitely another promising area of the blockchain.
Definitely. Now, in your intro, you talked about the lack of women, and you joined because it was male dominated. So how do you explain the lack of women in this industry generally? Why do you think that is?
Yes, unfortunately, women are really underrepresented in the blockchain industry. And I think this gender gap could be explained by the historical main dominance over tech and financial industries in general. And also, maybe women are discouraged from getting into the industry because it seems like it's a little bit riskier, if I may say that, for them. For example, like men, things like investing or trading in cryptocurrencies seems to be unappealing for women. And I think to ensure the overall improvement, we should really increase awareness and knowledge about this technology among women from a young age. We should build more inclusive and attractive communities for women where they feel kind of accepted and just welcomed to explore, learn, and innovate. And also, I think that women who are already in the industry have a great responsibility to act like role models, to inspire and to pave the way to other women interested in getting in this field. Unfortunately, there are now dedicated programs aiming to empower ambitious female talents in the blockchain space, such as, for example, DLT talent program, to which I'm really excited to be part of. And it's an 18-week long monitoring program founded by the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center to empower female talents to get into the blockchain industry and become leaders. And for those, of course, who are interested, you can definitely find more information about this program in their website, dltt.io. So such things are really important to have gender equality in the blockchain industry. And finally, I think women are already making a place for themselves in the blockchain landscape. The industry has seen a growing number of female entrepreneurs, CEOs, legal advisors, and even influencers.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing about DLT, because I'm excited about that as well. And I'll make sure to put it in the show notes. So what do you have to say to other women that would like to join this industry? How would you try to encourage them to get involved?
Yeah. I would say just go ahead, give it a try. The exciting thing is that blockchain is still in its early stages, so it's far from being a flawless technology. So this is just the beginning. So there is enough room for everyone to innovate and to contribute to its enhancement. It may seem like a tough domain, but that shouldn't daunt you if you are really interested in it. And don't worry about the challenges you may face. Just look to the amazing opportunities you may get. And we all started somewhere, and it really doesn't matter what is your background when you come into the industry. It doesn't have to be technical. You have several options: investment, marketing, setting regulations, communication. There are so many pathways to get into the industry. Just follow the one that is most convenient for you.
Definitely. And what about you? I mean, no one can predict the future, right? But where do you see yourself? Say, like, how do you plan to position yourself in this industry? Do you have a vision for yourself, or are you kind of just going with it and seeing where it takes you?
Yes. Yes. Great question. When I think about my future career, I foresee myself being a blockchain expert who is involved at community work and open source blockchain related projects. I really want to be one of the successful women in this field. And I think I still have a lot to learn. And I'm really eager to deepen my technical knowledge and also to strengthen my connections with people involved in the blockchain industry. And in order to get there, I'm certainly willing to work hard, and I'm willing to push myself and past my limit to get where I want to be. So yeah, that's how I see myself in the upcoming years.
Excellent. Good for you. Great. So any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
I just Yes, I just want to thank you. Really big thanks for having me. This was my first podcast ever, so I hope I did well as a guest,
Of
and
course you
I
did.
hope that thank you, and I hope that the audience enjoyed our talk as much as I did. And if anyone wants to get in touch, maybe talk about blockchain in general, about self-sovereign identity, you can find me on LinkedIn under Oumaima Mhadhbi, and I'll be happy to connect.
Fantastic. I know quite a few people that will be interested in reaching out to you. So, and I know for certain 100% that this was a very helpful and useful conversation. So please, no doubts at all. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us your
Thank you,
time.
Joanne.
All the way from Sousse, Sousse.
Yes.
I haven't been to Tunisia yet, but I will. I'm coming.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you again.
Yes,
And thanks
more than welcome to come.
Yes, I will let you know when. And thank you to everyone for listening in. And I will make sure to include all of Oumaima's details so you can reach out to her. So until next time, bye for now. Thank you, Oumaima.
Thank you.